What is up, everybody, and welcome back. We're back. We have a very special guest, a legend, a goat. Awesomeness is right here in front of us, guys. Stephanie, let's see if I get this name right, Steph. Stephanie Nadolny.
Yes, Nadolny, you got it.
Yeah.
Good job.
I know, I try my best.
I don't get offended if people say it wrong, mispronounce it. It's really not a big deal. It's been happening since I was a kid. So, but good job. Yay.
Yes, I try. Stephanie is here, the original OG voice of Kid Goku from Dragon Ball Daima, that is out now, that you can watch on Crunchyroll. Now, guys, before we start the show, we do not know when it will get out on Netflix. That's the biggest question everybody asks in the comments when I tag Stephanie and she reposts stuff, and and we don't know. The only thing that we know, it's going to be on Toonami. June what? I forget the date. June.
I think it's the 20th. Well, no, I think it might actually be earlier than it is, because I'll be at CommandCon. I think it starts this weekend at like 12:30 a.m. I'm not sure which time zone, but it will be picked up. It's been picked up officially. Cartoon Network, Toonami, Adult Swim. It'll be airing super late at night, depending on where you live, and that's really cool news. I didn't know that was going to happen, so it'll be readily available for more people who don't have Netflix or don't have Crunchyroll, and I'm assuming it'll start with episode 1. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think.
But maybe they'll keep running it. I don't know. Maybe they'll pick up some more times, or start it over. I'm not sure, but I'm super excited about it. I just found out like the other day. So, woohoo, Daima.
I know. I'm so excited that Daima is on Toonami now. I don't have to go through Crunchyroll, and be like, go look it up.
Go right
to it. Go right to it.
A lot of people haven't even watched it yet in the English dub, so this will be an opportunity for them to start watching it that way. Because it was a little limited. I think just Toei made the decision to just do it their way, and we honor that every time. So it's going to be more readily available. Hopefully we'll just secure a whole bunch more fans, new fans, old fans. We'll be able to watch it and give it a shot and enjoy the Demon Realm.
I know it's really good. Now, guys, this is all spoilers. So if you have not watched any of Dragon Ball Daima, don't watch. You can listen to the interview. You can watch our beautiful faces on your screen. I'm not saying that. Stephanie look like how adorable. Kid Goku right there.
I look just like him. Can't you tell?
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. That's so crazy that you can do that voice. That's crazy. I love when people do the voice. Even with Hibis, even with I had Bishop on the, X-Men 97. I had the voices on for them.
Oh, so cool.
Love it every time. I'm like, yes, just keep speaking like that. I don't know if it probably hurts your voice or something like that, but I'm like, you can talk that whole voice if you want.
Not really. Goku, especially Goku, OG Goku, is much higher in the voice. It's less grueling, less gravelly, it doesn't shred like the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan Cell Saga for sure. And I'm also a singer, a vocalist, started singing at a young age. So I've always used my voice, and I kind of know how to warm it up and contort it and make it malleable. And I also know how to recover from a rough voice acting session or a tour on the road or performing live, screaming and yelling, doing whatever. Thankfully.
Especially in Dynama. Now, my first question to you, Steph, is how did you get into voice acting? I know you're a vocalist, you're Gohan, you're Baby Trunks in the Dragon Ball world, Kid Goku. How did you get started into your journey of being this GOAT? I call you the GOAT, but everybody calls you that, amazing Kid Goku.
Well, everything for me started with music. Even as a child, music was my language. I was singing and dancing as a child before I really even knew kind of what I was doing. But thankfully, there was always good music in the house. My dad and my mom were both music lovers. At a minimum, we always had some kind of stereo system to be able to play good music. So I started singing, disco music and, kids songs, and we had records and then eventually cassette tape. So that was what I did on my free time, is listen to music, sing, write music, poetry, piano. I taught myself how to play the piano by ear as soon as I could get my hands on one, because we did have one. I think starting around age 6 or 7, we had a piano. And then I eventually got a Casio tone, piano where I could like play and make up songs. And I also kept a journal and a diary, so I was very into writing. And at one point, I was a bookworm, and I was just all into anything creative. And any chance I could get to, perform, try out for a play, a talent show, even though we moved every 2 to 3 years, which was not fun being a new kid in small towns most of my life. That was my go-to. That was always my hobby. It was always my passion. And as far as I'm starting there because there's kind of a story behind it. So as I got older, I would just audition for whatever I could, whether it's community theater. I got into pom pom in Kansas. Then I got into drill team when we moved to Texas. The end of my high school years. It was just everything to me, and thankfully, I had an amazing, rest in peace. My mom was very supportive of this. She did the best she could with us traveling and moving and to support whatever I was getting involved with, whether it was dance or baton or whatever. She did her best to support. And so what ended up happening is once I got to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, that's a big metroplex. And fortunately, once I got out of high school, graduated, went into college, Denton, Texas, which is where I live, is a huge music school with multiple avenues for up and coming musicians, whether they want to be professional or for a hobby or to be teachers. I was able to, start college here in Denton, and it's a big music scene, big music school, tons of musicians everywhere. I got a lot of influence, met a lot of great people. And through that scene, I was able to start auditioning for show bands and club bands and festival bands and things. And I started following a band called Brave Combo, and they're a Grammy Award-winning polka band actually from Denton, Texas, and still performing to this day. So what ended up happening is I got a job singing in a band that was local, that was up and coming, and at 18. And so we worked on our material, and it's kind of a funny story. I was singing songs with the band at someone's house, the bass player's house. He was older than us, so he had his own place, and the window was open, and somebody across the street, Lindy Wilson, who's also an amazing musician at the time, had his own band. He was auditioning singers for his group called Lindy and the Look. So I showed up for that audition at a studio, was super excited. And then the manager of that band recruited me in for an audition for Vince Vance and the Valiants, featuring the Vivacious Vixens of Rock and Roll, Venus, Violet, Victoria, whatever your V name is, which was singing, dancing, acting, performing, costumes, full-blown show band, party band, mostly 50s through the 80s. We did do some 90s eventually, but I got that audition and instantly was blown away by it and was asked to join the show band, leave home and travel with, full time. Had to leave college, which I didn't want to do, but I was following my dreams and my passions, and I didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. And so by doing that, I was able to get out on the road at 19 and work with top-notch musicians from all over the USA, travel on a tour bus, and really learn hands-on experience of performance. And I ended up staying with that band for well over 2 decades, and then came back and forth many times to help train and be a mentor for future starlets and help them with showmanship. There were 3 girl singers, so we always did the harmonies, and we would trade time on stage with Vince Vance, who would come out and do his shtick, and then we would sing backups, and then we would sing lead while Vince Vance was back changing costumes. So it was a very theatrical, visual performance. We had wireless microphones where we could go out in the crowd and interact with the fans or the audience, whatever it was, whether it's a club, a party, convention, weddings. But we mostly did convention like appearances for Christmas parties and special events. We did stuff at the Superdome, the Super Bowl. We opened up for some really big names over the years. I can't even think. There's so many. There was anything from Waylon Jennings to America, Vanessa Williams, Huey Lewis and the News, the Spinners, the Four Tops, the Drifters, the Coasters, Chubby Checker, Johnny Rivers, Percy Sledge. Casey and the Sunshine Band was fun because I love disco. I grew up on disco music. So it was a really, really great experience to get out and learn, how to be a performer and visually and, costumes, comedy, improv. It was all wrapped up in one and it was great. So I met other musicians with other bands and did a lot of networking in and out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, started working some with Brave Combo, and eventually got recruited in to sing Carl Finch's original music. So we did an entire album in 1996 and 1997. And through that contact, I was brought in to voice Helen the Hen for one season, just the singing voice for one winter season. And then from there, I got into voicing toys for Jemmy Toys, which basically would have singers / voice actors come in, mostly singing but singing in character voices, which is something I found was a lot more of a unique talent rather than just being a singer or just being a voice actor. So that's where the character voices came in, the ones I had been doing as a kid for fun, all the cassette tapes. I would record me and my friends talking, and we'd have interviews and make up different voices. So I was already into mimicking, into anything related to the voice, but putting it to use later after I, pursued my music career was when I got my kind of big break. While I was recording some vocals with Brave Combo, sometime around 1996, I met Barry Watson, who was a big fan of Brave Combo, and he invited me to audition for Dragon Ball Z. About a year later, I think. He remembered that I had a character type voice through sitting in on the sessions, and that's where I got invited to audition. And my audition was apparently different than a lot of the other auditions. There was no mimicking. I didn't hear anything. I didn't voice match anybody. I went in front of 3 of the producer directors and tried out for the female characters, thinking, oh, well, this is the females. I'll try out for the females. And so I tried out for Bulma, Poir, Yachi, blah, blah, blah. Poir, what was I going to say? Yamcha. I didn't try out for Yamcha. The females, Chi-Chi, Chi-Chi, Bulma, Poir, Chaozu is what I was trying to say.
Oh, Chaozu.
Yeah, Chaozu. And then right before I was going to wrap up the audition, Barry said, hey, can you do the voice of a young boy? And so I threw out the voice of a young boy, whatever I could come up with in my head. And, I had plenty of references from growing up with stepbrothers and a brother and, all my school friends. And they asked me to be a little more raspy with it. So I added some rasp. And that's where Gohan was born, because a week later I was called and cast as Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, which I had no prior experience of anything anime. I knew it was a cartoon. And then I found out later as the years went on what it was, how big it was, by seeing Dragon Ball Z merchandise in Italy and Spain when I went over there with my show band. And they had the Burger King, promotion where they were giving away Dragon Ball Z with the kids' meals, figures. So that's where it happened for me, is being out in the industry, singing, performing, sitting in with bands. I was just out there doing it, just getting exposure, and got the right connection. And I owe Barry Watson a ton for believing in me, bringing me in straight into callbacks and casting me as Gohan. And then later, a year or two later, as Goku for Dragon Ball, which we did them backwards. None of us knew. We just showed up to work, and there was no prep. We just showed up and followed direction, and that's kind of how it happened for me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Sorry, that's a long answer, but I really wanted to really explain the backstory and how music and
no, that's good. I love music. I actually I went to college for music, music tech. But I go for voice lessons for my voice and stuff like that. So I understand what you're talking about. So I was really intrigued in what you were saying. So
yeah, it is really cool too, because Barry Watson, who was a director, the main director, was a big fan of Brave Combo, which is therefore the founder. Carl Finch was the one I had already been working with on his original music. So when it came time to start dubbing the English themes for some of the animes, which I wish they were still doing, but I think they only did that for a limited time. I was brought in to sing Sayonara Bye Bye for Yu Yu Hakusho, the opening and closing for Kitty Grade, as well as a couple of themes for, I think, Case Closed. And like I said, I could do that forever. I had a big hand in learning how to take the Japanese translation of the lyrics and turn them into English lyrics that make sense to convey the same meaning. And that for me was valuable experience for me as a growing artist, as a writer, as a parody jingle singer, whatever, multiple type stuff. It was really a facet of the industry I hadn't experienced before. So I was actually called in also to direct some singers, which was really fun to get behind the scenes and try to bring out the best in the singers, and worked with a lot of the singers in the Dallas-Fort Worth scene that were already working in other bands that I'd either subbed with or people that I knew through the industry. So it was a really cool time. I was also writing and producing parodies and jingles for morning show radio, a lot of comedic stuff, kind of like Weird Al Yankovic, but Weird Alice. I call myself Weird Alice. And that was a really great experience to get that kind of exposure and really try to hone in on my writing skills and really make the cool rhymes. And then from there I started writing kids songs, and there's some of those are on my website if anyone wants to check them out. Also on YouTube, Kids Christmas and Halloween Rocks. And the Shelled album needs to come out. It's time. It's been 25 plus 20, almost 30 years. We need to get that album out there on Spotify. So that's on the back burner because I've been busy traveling with a lot of conventions and appearances, but it will happen. So when it does, I'll be making announcements, and also on my website and on my social media.
Yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. We're gonna have a whole album by Stephanie.
Hey, it was called The Cookies, and Carl Fitch and I were the duo that did all of the singing, lead and backups for each other. But there's some great material there that got shelved, and it's sad. We got to get that stuff out there.
Yeah, especially if it's about cookies.
A lot of fans that come up don't even know, like to the table or wherever I am, don't realize I'm a singer and started singing as a child, and that's what started for me the entire journey of whatever my career has been, is involved the voice, and the voice acting has really put me on the map, really more the character voice acting more so than the music, as far as like globally or all over the internet, the interweb.
Yeah, that's great. I can't. We're gonna have to sing together one day, Stephen. We're gonna have to do a duet.
I love doing duets. I love singing with people. Yeah, I still get called occasionally to sub with different bands and stuff. If my schedule allows, we do it. Dan Bradford was my bass player in 2003 for a band called The Project, and we worked together now for 22 years, and now we're partners, and we are business partners and besties, and we work together. He comes with me on my conventions and helps me with my promotional videos, and with he's my handler now too at the merch table when we do store signings and Comic-Cons. So it's been great. It's just kind of morphed into this really cool kind of deal.
It is, and Dan's the best. Me talking to Dan.
Dan is the man, you guys.
The man. I love Dan's.
Yes.
I'm team Dan. If you guys ever come for Dan, just don't see me in the parking lot.
Yes. Occasionally he will get asked for an autograph, which he finds hilarious. I love it when that happens because they get to talking to him and they get to know us, or there might be a panel, or there might be, so where we all go out to dinner and they get to know him, and they're like, "Oh, you have to bring Dan. You're not bringing Dan. You have to bring Dan." And I'm like, "Yes, I have to bring Dan." So now that he's officially retired from radio and as a musician, which we hope to get back into music, we miss it like crazy, but for now we're doing what we're doing now, and that works. Make hay while the sun's shining, promote daima, and be available for as many events as possible.
Yeah, Dan's the best.
Gotta meet the fans. I love you guys.
I know, and I love when people post you And I'm like, oh, one day, me and Stephanie will make videos, photos,
Yes.
whatever. We're gonna make awesome. Yeah,
Collaborations,
it's
TikTok, whatever.
collaborations.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you call it in the Webster. But my next question to you is, Stephanie. So years later, you get a call. I don't know from who, but from someone. What did they ask you when you thought? Did you ever think you would ever be the voice of Kid Goku again in the Dragon Ball world?
I didn't. I didn't know there was more. I didn't know that Daima was even in production. I actually, because my characters they all aged up. They all grew up. I did get some great opportunities to voice some side characters, German English teacher, East Kai Baby Trunks. East Kai was fun. That kind of happened out of the blue. Oh my! She was a lot of fun. And the talent pool was smaller, and nobody really knew what was happening, like how long everything would last or how big it would be. And then, of course, it got a lot of exposure on Cartoon Network, which the English dub became very popular, the Funimation dub. Well, a lot of changes happened. The company grew, ownership changed, directors came and went. A lot of the directors were also voice actors, and they had their favorites, and so some people kind of got switched around. But 16 years after Raging Blast and finishing up Dragon Ball GT, I was contacted to come in and read for Goku, Kid Goku again, and I was like, what is all of this about? And I can talk about it now because time is out, but it was a big hush hush thing. It had to be done on Toei's terms, and so I came in and was just really excited to get in the studio again and like make some magic. And it turned out it was like riding a bike, just getting, the voice was always there, and I had done it for so many years and was still doing Comic-Cons and appearances. So I had great chemistry with the director, Jonathan Rigg, and the ADR director. About a week later, I get a call from from Justin Cook, and he's like, "Hey, we want you back. Toei wants you back to be Goku Mini and Daima." And I was just really completely blown away. There just aren't words to describe. I was like, "Wow, this is great. I would love to come back. It'd be an honor." And so there's the story. I wasn't able to say anything until New York Comic Con when Toei brought me out to appear at a panel in front of about 3,500 people where they showed the trailer and the first episode. And then Akira Toriyama's right-hand man was there, which was a total honor, his executive producer, who's still working with Toei and hopefully going to be working on more projects coming soon. And that was just, I'm still blown away by it, to be honest. It's been so fun to come back and really embrace the character again and bring back some of that OG comedy and some great battles. And you've seen it, so you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Really proud of the cast and crew, and it's all done. So I'm hopefully there'll be more. There's the video games. Xenoverse 2 is out and Legends is out as well. So whatever the updates are, I'm not involved in any of the video game playing. I don't have any consoles or anything, but I hear great things about it, and hope everybody's enjoying what's been released.
I know I haven't played them, so I cannot tell you if they're good or not. So I can't tell you, but they're probably the best because I like it.
It's just fun to get in there and do the voice again and relive some of the scenes and the battle, the Kamea waves and all these different interactions with the characters and him, mispronouncing Glorio's name again. And it's just a lot of fun to record all that stuff.
Goku really messed up Glorio's name. He called Gloria like 25 different names. It was each episode. It was each.
Gloria was like, "You're doing this on purpose. Are you doing this on purpose?" He's, "No, really, I'm not." He really thinks he's getting it right, but getting it wrong is that's Goku for you. He's gonna misspell. He's gonna mispronounce things. He's gonna forget things. He's not the smartest guy, but he's Goku. He's got his own unique character and personality, and he's super strong. And you saw what happened where he morphs into the different transitions: Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, Goku Mini. Wow, that was crazy.
Yes, crazy. Let's talk about Super Saiyan 4's transformation. I love Super Saiyan 4. So I didn't watch it in Japanese. I don't watch it in like the sub version because I just don't understand. It's not
Yeah.
like it's not my cup of tea. Like everybody like loves it. Grats. I'm not. We're not gonna fight about it. Like you like it, I
No,
don't. You
no,
know,
it's some
it's
people
just
watch
what we
it first
like.
in Japanese, or they kind of feel like they'd be tied to the TV. They have to read the subtitles.
Yeah. So
Some
it's like a
people
lot.
wait. Yeah.
A lot more extra work. So I don't worry. I watched the reels of everything, so I was all
Yeah.
caught up. So when the episodes kept premiering, I'm like, what are they gonna do? Okay, so Stephanie's going Super Saiyan 3. Okay, so she has to go Super Saiyan 4. To me, I thought you were actually gonna go Super Saiyan God. I was waiting for that. And then I was like, and then I didn't know it was only 20 episodes until maybe one of the outlets posted it. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So if she's only going to go Super Saiyan 4 in 19 episodes, then what happens in the 20th episode? Because are they going to beat Goma, or this is going to be like a cliffhanger where they have to stay mini? Like, what are they going to do? Because I'm like, in
Mhm.
23 minutes, you can tell a story in 23 minutes. I know it's been done, but it's like, what, there has to be more to this. There has to be, because it's like how they ended. It's like, it's a
Yeah.
smack right in the face. So I was expecting like you to go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, like I was ready for it as like mini, and I'm like, wow. I was watching. I was like, oh god, okay, maybe episode 20. Goku's going Super Saiyan, whatever, and
Yeah.
then it just cuts to him getting grown again, and then him being adult again, of course, in episode 20. But I was really so disappointed. I was expecting more episodes, at least 25 to 30, in that short time, because there was so much story to tell even with
Yes.
Goma, Goma's story. Goma
Mhm.
is one of my probably favorite villains. A lot of Dynama characters are like my favorite. Hybis is ultimate hilarious. That is,
Yes. Comic relief at its finest.
yes, he is hilarious. I love Pansy. She is so cute. I love Pansy.
Adorable. I know. The
Um,
voice just seems just perfect for her. And
yes,
Neva really blew me away with the comedy he brought to the show, being the
yes.
older, Namekian, and the scene where he starts singing the Dragon Ball thing is like a parody of itself. It's like, oh, find the Dragon Ball, look out for the ball, and he's like dancing around. I mean, we had to watch that. We had to rewind it like 3 times when that came on because we couldn't believe what we were watching. It was so funny. It was hilarious.
Yeah, like even like who can I say? Glorio brought a little dark humor to the floor, He wasn't really
Mhm.
funny, but we could see, he had his little quirks.
He was
Um
mysterious,
yes, very mysterious. Um
elusive.
Mini Bulma really Taylor Murphy
Yes.
really knocked it out of the park with Mini
Yes.
Bulma. She to the T, to the T.
The
Um
squeaking on command was very impressive for me because I was wondering if she could squeak the voice up, very similar to the original OG Bulma from Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, "Wow, that's a really cool talent to just, naturally know when to squeak her voice on what line based on the dialogue and the context." I was really impressed with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing her and a lot of the other Daima, uh, voice actors this weekend. I know this is gonna get old when people I don't know who's watching when, but, uh, we're in June 2025 right now, and it's gonna be really exciting to see a lot of the Daima characters for the first time kind of all at one convention, including a
I
lot of the
know.
OGs, even some of the, what is it? Ocean Dub voice actors will be there, and I think a couple from, Dragon Ball Super as well.
Yeah, I'm so upset that I'm missing this con.
There'll
I
be pictures and videos, I'm sure.
I know, but I just want to be there.
Well, maybe next year they'll do it again. I mean, if it goes well, they'll keep it there. I'm not sure what'll happen for Kamehacon 7. This is Kamehacon 6, so it's pretty exciting, and it's a big reunion. Even Elise Bowman will
Yes.
be there from Dragon Ball GT. She voices Pan. So it's a really great time for all of us who don't really get to hang out much together to come together and participate in panels, maybe go out to dinner afterwards, kind of, you know, um, it's gonna be a whirlwind because there's an all-star guest lineup, and there are a lot of guests
There
at
is.
this
There's a
one.
lot of guests and a lot of first timers that are going to the con, like Nasim, Naya,
Yes.
Cole.
Paul Castro, my
Yeah,
Vegeta mini. Yes,
I
we've done a couple of
love
events
Paul.
together. Really looking forward to seeing him again. He's a great guy.
I love Paul. I think he killed it with Prince
He did.
Vegeta. He
He
really did.
really did.
Nassim killed it as Mini Piccolo. He really
Yeah,
was great. Naya really was. Just bring her back as
really
Supreme
great.
Guy. You know, just bring her
Yes,
back.
Supreme Kai Mini is way cute, way cuter than I thought, and yeah, her voice is really good on that. There's
Really,
been really great casting involved here.
they
It's really
did.
nice to see the up and comings and the younger folks that have been working hard to get into this extremely competitive industry. And it's just we got to see what one of the cool moments that we were able to do is whoever was available when the Daima was released in theaters for the first 3 episodes in November, like around the 10th of November 2024, we had like a unofficial screening where the director and a lot of the cast members and their significant others, we all kind of came out to celebrate the show and the release of the first 3 episodes in the theaters. And we almost kind of had this theater to ourselves. It's like a Monday night, and we really had a good time interacting. And I had a publicist friend of mine come out and do a little video on our experiences coming into the show and the recording process, and looking forward to seeing it on Crunchyroll Premium. So that was a highlight for sure, to kind of see a lot of the cast come together for the first time.
I know, because now when you recorded Dynamite and you got brought back, did you record lines with like Paul, Naya, and stuff like that, or it was just you in a studio? Because I know Kristen, when she did Hibis's lines, she saw you, she said, just like believing
In passing.
passing by, but she wasn't in there recording. But was it different for
Right.
you?
No, it's all the same for everybody. We record separately. We go from line to line. The process has obviously changed dramatically since the early days with paper scripts and the old style TVs. Late 90s, there was, we wouldn't really even hear anything. We would have to basically just match flaps and take direction and be explained what's going on. There was never any prep time. We never got to watch anything ahead of time. We didn't know any different, so it really wasn't a big deal. We got used to it, and it was just the way it was done. Some of the sessions were longer and more grueling, especially for Cell Saga for me personally. And now it's kind of done all based on the line count, and sometimes we can get one or two, maybe 3 episodes done in like an hour or two. It's really quite efficient. And being able to hear the Japanese line in our headphones prior gives us the timing and the context as far as what's going on, and how big the mouth is, how high the stakes are, and things like that. And then along with the direction, that's when we deliver the lines. So yeah, and the director did a great job. Kudos. And with that being said, out of the blue come these Hollywood Astro Awards. Daima was nominated for best anime, along with 4 others. They're happening now. I don't know who's seeing them, who's voting. I really don't know anything about it. I'm just so excited and blown away to be nominated. It gives Daima a lot of
I hope he won.
recognition. I hope he won. And then I was also nominated, totally blown away by this as well, for best lead voice in an animated feature. Seth MacFarlane is also in that category. Katie Kyoko for Harley Quinn. Alex, can't say the last name, from the Family Guy. Johnny Young Bosch. There was a lot of really great talent thrown into the mix. So just to be on, like I said, nominated is
an honor.
Crazy. I'm looking forward to hearing how that turns out. And then also, while we're on the subject, shameless plug, guys, Nickelodeon Kids Choice Award.
Yeah, go vote.
So
vote. We'll have the link right here. Vote for Dynama. You guys can vote. This is a voting award for anybody out there. Not like the Astro Awards. The Astro Awards, we really don't know how they get picked. Maybe I feel like a bunch of people in a room will be like, which show do you like better? Which one do you like really better? And I really feel like Dynama deserves it, not because I'm a Dynama fan, because I'm also a Harley Quinn fan, Family Guy, all those categories I've watched and stuff like that. But I really feel like, Dynama really did their big one with this, and we haven't got a nomination from a Dragon Ball series in forever. Like, so
Right.
just have been like nominated is such an honor and a Choice Award. I hope you're invited to the Nickelodeon Choice Awards.
I haven't heard anything about that. I'd love to go if there was a way to go, and I'm assuming it's in California, maybe LA. It's definitely something I've heard of before, and I've seen bits and pieces of it over the years. I used to watch Nickelodeon when I was younger.
I still do.
Yeah. Great stuff. Yeah, You Can't Do That on Television was one of my favorite shows from
that was
way back, late 80s, I think.
I remember that.
80s, yeah. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not sure. I think you can only vote once. I don't know how that works.
No, you can vote multiple times.
Okay, like once a day or once.
No, you can go I don't know what day. I voted like 10 times, and it will let me go through. So for the Nickelodeon, you can vote as many times as you want because you're So you're voting. So guys, go right now. The link is right here as I'm putting my fingers like this. Go vote. See, even Stephanie's doing. Just go vote. Hit Daima. I think Daima is like number 10 or 11 on the list to vote.
Yeah, they might make you vote for each one.
Yes, they do. They make you vote for each one.
I think they want you to vote for stuff one at a time, and then till you get to the one you want.
Correct.
I think that's how it's done.
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So go vote, guys.
Yeah.
Do it. We need Daima to bring home some awards. So maybe a season 2 is in, and bring back the minis, because the minis were really so good. Like, I can't get enough. But Steph, I really want to talk about, because everybody's not talking about, but everybody mentioned when the episode came out, Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4. But the big one is Super Saiyan 4. Super Saiyan 3, we got like an episode, but Super Saiyan 4 was the one everybody loved. And I was told to ask this question by a Dragon Ball fan. And I think you might know him. Irvin? Irvin. You know Irvin. He was like, you gotta ask her about the roars. You gotta ask her. Yeah. I was like, of course. So how was that, getting in the studio and seeing, and you just go, and just like breaking free? Like, how was that to record that roar scene in a Super Saiyan 4?
Yeah. Thankfully, the director was pretty open to my ideas, and I had also been after many, many, many years, been in touch with Sean Schemmel, who voices adult Goku. We actually really wanted to make it like really good. So we thought it'd be good if we kind of had a powwow ahead of time and really kind of talked about how we wanted it to be portrayed so that it would really match up nicely based on my performance and his performance. Because I think in all actuality, because he's in LA, I think he did a lot of his first before I did mine. So we talked about, presenting that form in a very animalistic, the most animalistic roars that we could kind of come up with by still, with still using our voice. And I think it worked out quite nicely. We both really, really are passionate about our character and the work being really solid, and every line being meticulously thought out. And fortunately we were able to do that. And if we had to do something again, we did it again. If I felt like, hey, now that I've seen it, I think I can do it better, and I would kind of have this banter with the director. And thankfully he was very flexible and open with my ideas. A lot of times I tried it first without any real direction to see what happens, because sometimes straight out the gate the voice just comes out, it just works. And even if you overanalyze certain lines, it almost takes away, and it's like, no, I think it was good the first time. Other times the second or third time might be better. We also had a technique where on some of the lines I would give either the reaction, the roar, the whatever we were working on once, and then I would do it again right after while they were still rolling, so they could, if they liked the second one, if we all agreed it was bigger and better than the first, it could be slid into place. So technology has
really evolved.
Is upon us, whatever's the most recent of all of that, and they were able to kind of move some things around. And we actually went back and did some things over for sessions that we call pickups, when, you know, after through all the approval process, if something needs to be slightly changed, or if one line needs to be changed, or maybe a word needs to be taken out to match the flaps better, we would do pickups. But fortunately, we didn't have to do a whole lot of the pickups. I don't mind doing pickups. You know, we had to operate in a way that was approved by Toei, not just in the casting, but also in the dialogue, just to make sure everything translated correctly, the meaning was conveyed, and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was Super Saiyan 4, Steph.
And what's interesting is I didn't know like how much further it was going to go, because we just did line by line. I didn't know exactly what was happening. I was following along. So I'm like, when do I get to like release everything? What's the biggest, most craziest, insane, animalistic roar? Where does that come into play? Because I was holding back a little. And if the director sensed that, he was like, oh yeah, no, this is much bigger than that. You know, go ahead and just let it go. So I had to kind of ask him, where are we at in the scene, and where do you need the insanity to break loose for Super Saiyan 4? Because it had to be something different. It couldn't just be Super Saiyan 3 louder.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be something specific to that exact transformation. And by watching it, you know, always helps, because then I can kind of like, oh, okay. I visualize him, you know, kind of almost grunting when he was like almost moving like an animal throughout the screen, you know, in the scenes. And that's when it was like, okay, I think I have an idea of what I want to do there. So.
And Frieza must have been in hell going, the monkey. Like he must have just been like, when he was running like a monkey, Goku, Frieza must have been rolling in hell, like just like.
I know, mad. Yeah, it was really cool to see that, and I have to admit, I wish there was more. I definitely was hoping for, I don't know, longer scenes or whatever, but truly, the process was magical. I wish I could have had video, or even like for a documentary. You know how sometimes they'll come in and record kind of behind the scenes. There wasn't any of that. It was all very hush, which is fine. It was magical. We were in the moment, and it was great, and I'll never forget it. But those were the rules, and so we honored the wishes, and you know, and everything has to be released when it's approved, and we did so. But it was the process. I relished in it. It was really amazing.
It was a great experience for Dynamo. I loved it. It made me feel like a Dragon Ball fan again. I love Dragon Ball, so
I'm just really glad that the fans rallied, and Toei in Japan really wanted that OG. They really wanted that vibe of Goku to kind of match up and sync who he was, and then being an adult and changed back into a mini. You know, I think really kind of it was obviously a full circle moment for me personally as an actor. It was like, okay, this is all coming back around many years later, and being able to dub it so quickly after the Japanese was also such a big highlight, to really kind of come on the heels of what they did with it. And, you know, to have Masako Nawaza back, you know, still killing it at 88, age 88, 80. I'm not sure. I think she's 88. What an honor, you know, to come off the heels. There definitely wasn't any mimicking. We definitely do things different in English. There's just a whole different culture involved. But to hear her voice in my headphones prior to each line was really cool. Really, that was a first for me, to hear the Japanese line spoken in Japanese. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the culture and the sounds that Japanese people make when they're in pain, and the differences, and then just to make it my own, and to be able to have some flexibility, even with the video games, with Damon Mills directing, it's just been fantastic. I'm just relishing in it. Every second of it. It's just like, this is awesome.
I wish I was there with you, because we could relish it together. I'll be just a fangirling, and you'll just be doing the scene. I'll go, Stephanie. Yeah, louder. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was like a video. I wish there was like a video of us in the moment, you know, capturing these moments and recording, and that could be stashed away with permission, and that we could put something together years later or whenever we would get permission. But it didn't happen. But in my little brain, I'm thinking, gosh, if there was just a way to chronicle this, all I could do is write in my schedule what we worked on that day. That was kind of the most of it. But it was fantastic, and I'm still insanely honored and always will be to have been brought back. And the fans, I owe it to you guys. You guys voiced your requests, and they were listening. They were honored by Toei, and I'm just so grateful to Toei Japan for bringing me back and believing in me to really see it through.
We love you, Stephanie.
I love you too, my anime kiddos. You call me anime auntie, anime mama, whatever that is, whatever you want to. That's my way of nurturing my kids.
We are. I'm your biggest one. Just don't worry.
Yes, go Chris.
So my next question to you is, so you're out in the real world, do you have connections to GOKU that you take with you? Like if you're at like I go like I told you before the show, my favorite character of all time is Ahsoka Tano. And I go out into the world if I have a trouble, if I'm like having drama with something, or doubting myself in some things, I'm like, what would Ahsoka do? Do you have those kind of moments as you play Kid Goku or any of the other characters that you played? Do you just go through like, how would Goku handle that? How could I know we can't punch everybody. I know we can't just do that because
not Goku physically in the real world. Yeah,
Kamehameha, you go Kaioken times 100. But anything has Goku taught you in your world, and you take with you every day?
Right. Well, I mean, after having voiced him for so long, and then also Gohan was my first anime role, and then having been cast when my mom was dealing with cancer, I ended up losing her in August of '99, which was horribly tragic at the young age of 51. I think I was in my 20s, and that was really hard. But I was able to take that experience into the emotional scene of the father-son Kamea, and I'm talking about Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I was able to kind of really draw from real life, unfortunately, real life pain and loss and grief and anger and all of that stuff, and transform it and try to make a good performance out of it. As far as Goku, he's the little boy I could never be. So I live vicariously through Goku, pure of heart. No, I'm not pure of heart. None of us are, but we strive to be. We hope that we strive to be. And then the comedy is a no-brainer. I'm very silly. I'm cheesy as hell. I get made fun of for it, but it is what it is. So the comedic part of it, really trying to channel that innocence of what a young boy who isn't very smart. He was raised in the woods. He didn't know what a girl was. All of that stuff for me is hilarious. What made Dragon Ball what it is, and having those innocent moments, and Goku saying things that were absolutely ludicrous, that really were inappropriate, but they just kind of came out innocently, and to be able to capture that was very important to me, to really capture that in a genuine way. So I definitely sometimes will think how Goku would respond to certain things, or how Goku likes to, he likes to eat. So, I like to eat like Goku. So when I'm eating at a restaurant, I'm like, oh, I could eat 8 plates of this, like Goku, and then even in Daima, the things that he was eating and the revive bugs and all these crazy, it's like Goku didn't care. It's like, come on, I'll try anything. Let's do it. It's time to eat, So, I definitely identify with that, and, the strength and the power, and to use your gifts for good and not evil, and the universal idea of trying to be bigger and better than your demons, villains, whatever you want to call them, is I can definitely reference that, the work I've done in the scenes I've worked on in Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Daima. So I definitely, it's changed my life for sure. It's changed the fandom. It's people that we know now because of Akira's work. What a legend. It's mind-blowing how big the show and the franchise has gone. It's one of the best. I call it the gateway anime along with several others, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon. There's a bunch of Street Fighter, I think, or what are they called? The kind of the OG
Yes.
original animes that came out even before Dragon Ball Z was released as a manga in like '84. So it's great that it's been a key part along with the others in bringing anime to mainstream. Having a streaming service and having anime be so big that there's anime conventions all over the world. It's mind blowing.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, humbling, just wow.
So I have two more questions for you, Steph. Next one is, what was your favorite scene in Dynamite? It could be anything. It doesn't even have to be Goku related. It can be anything.
Anything.
What is your favorite scene in Dragon Ball Dynamite?
That's a tough one. I know episodes 4 and 8 were two of my absolute favorites for various reasons. I do remember a highlight. There's a couple when Goku uses the toilet and you hear the flush, and I'm like, oh wow, Goku really is an adult in a mini body. He's using the toilet. He used to just drop his pants and pee in the river. I thought that was so cool that he would have his big meal and then he'd go use the bathroom and
thank God he took a shower. Pansy was not.
They even made him. Yeah, that was hilarious. Him thinking he was going to have to wear Pansy's clothing, thinking he was like, I don't know about panties, and she's like, no. And the way she gets mad at him, and he tries to stay awake that one night, and he's like holding his eyes open, trying desperately to stay awake, and then he's like sound asleep when everybody gets up the next day. But the part where Neva dances around when he notices they have a Dragon Ball, and he inserts the Dragon Ball theme and dances around. Oh, it's a Dragon Ball! Find the Dragon Balls! Look out for the ball! I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was watching, because I was seeing it along with whoever else was watching it that Friday when it was released. That really stood out because I thought that was just so out of the blue, spoofing itself, kind of parody of its own show. Dragon Ball Daima was singing a theme from the original Dragon Ball. I mean, how geniusly funny is that? That and the fighting between Vegeta and Vegeta Mini and Goku Mini, that was hilarious when they were fighting over who gets to fight the next. And Neva's like, you guys they enjoy combat. And, just to see that whole dynamic with them fighting over who gets to go and trying to take turns and not wanting to. And those are some moments that stand out. The Tamagami.
I love the Tamagami. They're so cool.
The first Tamagami, this is something cool that I found to be super, super Nito Frito Bandito was, so when we were recording the scene where Goku has to fight the Tamagami number 3, and then there's the little game he has to play, which thankfully he succeeded. When the Tamagami hands him the Dragon Ball, during recording, the line was, "Oh yeah." So I said, "Oh yeah," or however I said it. And while the tape wasn't running, in my own little in-between afterthought, I said, "Oh yeah," kind of like that, and the director heard it and said, do that." So we went back and I did it that way, which kind of brought sort of this current vibe of how the kids say "oh yeah," "oh yeah," like kind of more like that. And we were able to put that in, which I thought was like, wow, really? Are you sure? Like, that'd be great. And I think there was a couple lines that I did some improv lines, like Roger that wasn't written. I just kind of did it as a, how about this? That got put in. So there were some moments where my little glimmers of ideas were actually embraced and utilized, and they went through and were approved. So that was like, wow, okay, now I'm like thinking about, possibly going into some directing. It's like, hey, I think I could direct, I'd definitely be willing to try.
Yes,
so those moments really stand out. That and him accidentally, passing gas. You don't really hear it. He has to take accountability. Yeah. Sorry, that was me. When the stench of the demon world, and then anyway, when you got to watch it to see what I'm talking about.
Watch Dynamite.
That and the toilet paper being hurled at him by Pansy, and she gets mad at him. I thought you should have went when we were there. I didn't have to go then, and him having to go to the bathroom. It's like, why are you eating this big giant meal before you fight? Nobody does that. Like, why are you doing that? Well, that's Goku's way.
Yeah, that's Goku's way to kick some ass, kick some.
That's how he does it. That's in that order.
Yeah, just like that. So Stephanie, my final question to you is, so that someone wants to be a voice actor that's watching, like me, I want to be a voice actor. What is that one thing that you will tell the young generation if they want to get into this field of voice acting? What is that advice that you would tell them?
Right. Well, first of all, it really helps to have acting experience. You can have a great voice, you can be a great mimic, but if you don't have the acting chops to be able to bring a character to life, something that's completely unique, then, I would just say you could do audiobooks or, audition for commercials or do it as a hobby. To be really good at it, I think it would take, really putting the time in to better yourself as an actual actor and having that experience to take you to the next level, to really, because some people are really good voice actors, but they are really good at, say, one thing. Don't let that stop you. That might be what you're best at. Like for me, I'm just naturally better at character voices. I'm naturally better with comedy. In my opinion, whatever. But there's workshops. There's so many avenues that you can take to get experience, to get into community theater, get into some classes, and just practice. Listen to your voice, listen back, see what you're best at, get a demo reel, possibly try to get an agent, but it's going to take experience, because a lot of us that did start when we did years and years ago were already working actors, working singers, working performers, improv entertainers, live performers. There was something that was already there that thankfully got us the audition and therefore got us into the field of anime voice acting. So even in big features and films, a lot of the people they bring in have experience of some kind. They have some kind of a foundation, whether they were a child actor or they were great with theater acting or, method acting or whatever it is. That's what I would say, because it's very competitive. But, and there's kind of there's some unwritten rules, obviously being, staying professional, don't gossip, don't get involved in the dark side. Don't talk smack about people. It's just not cool. It happens, but try not to get involved in any of the drama, and stay professional, be on time, be grateful, and be humble, stay humble. That's my best advice.
Oh, Stephanie.
I can't guarantee anything. I mean, if you want classes, I do consults. If you want to reach out to me through my website, as time allows, I will do a weekday or weeknight consult, just kind of see and assess where somebody is. They may just need one or two just to get them some knowledge from just my personal experience, and then get some ideas and maybe get a home studio set up, which is really easy nowadays. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money to do that. You can get some great recordings from like we're doing a podcast interview right now. It can be done, and it doesn't have to be booking a studio, booking time. If you don't know how to do any of it, that may be your only route. But I just would highly recommend doing a lot of research before you really invest a lot of money. Sometimes it does take investing some amount to get in front of some of the directors. And there's all kinds of the workshops, even out of LA. Some people work remotely. Paul Castro's LA. One of the Tamagamis is not Dallas-Fort Worth based. I personally prefer going into the studio so that I can have that connection with the director, like in person. There's just like a whole different vibe. It's not like I can't do it otherwise. I'm open to remote recording, and I've done a lot of that over the years. So don't let that stop you. I just think that if it's really something you want to do, start out wherever you can and build on that. And even if it's a hobby to start, get another job to pay your bills and get an income going, so that you can invest in the equipment and the classes or whatever it is that you want to do. And it's going to depend on where you live too, because if you're in a remote city, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Some people relocate to a big city. Some people go to LA. Some people go to New York. Some people start out trying to get into Broadway, and then they gain experience that way. Even if they're a side character or a chorus part, anything and everything you do is going to be experience that you can build on.
I'm gonna have to take some classes from you, Stephanie.
Oh, we'll have to set that up. maybe that'll work out.
Yeah, we have to do it. But Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the Scevoli Extra show and talking Dragon Ball, Daima, Dragon Ball Z, Gohan, Kid Goku, everything with me. I really appreciate you. You are the GOAT. You're the OG. I love you so much. You are a talent to this world. You are really awesome. You really are. I cannot wait to meet you in person so we can do everything. I don't know what we can do. We can just do all of it. But before we go, where can everybody find you on the social of meteors?
Oh, cute. First of all, thank you for those compliments. It was truly my pleasure. I absolutely loved it. It was great. And I love my fans so much. Really, truly, genuinely are like my kids. I don't have any of my own. I wanted them, couldn't have them. So you guys are the ones I nurture and hope to encourage. And I'm just so appreciative of all of the compliments and accolades and flowers. It's all so very much appreciated. And has really brought this comeback personally and professionally all the more special. The best way to reach me would be my website, stephanienadolny.com. I do have an Instagram, Stephanie Nadolny. I've got Facebook, Stephanie Nadolny voice actress. I do have an X. It's Steph Vox, so STEPHVOX. I do have a submission form on my website. If you want an autograph through the mail, or if you have a question, I will get back to you. If I'm traveling and busy on weekends, I'll get to them when I can, but I do answer everybody back. DMs are good. If you want to reach out to me through Instagram, I do answer my DMs. And that's probably it for now, but that's the best way to reach me. And you can reach out to me through email as well. StephanieFanmail@gmail.com.
And I will definitely all put the links to follow her in the bio. Yeah. So you don't have to write that down. I would write that down just in case.
Sure. Great.
But Stephanie, thank you so much. Please come back anytime, please. I would
love to. Let's see where we're at here down the line and see what's going on 6 months to a year and do this all over again.
Yeah, I would love to. We can rewatch Daima together. Get the big.
Oh yeah, and like interact with you and make comments. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should do like a watch party. I think we would be
watch party. Yes,
yeah. I just don't know how to do that on here, so I would have to figure that out.
Right. Technically, technology, figuring out like the end screen and the double, like watching it.
Correct.
I've seen people do that. It's really cool.
It is. So I think we should do that, and we can react to the episodes together and give our honest feedback. But Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you so much. You are the best.
You. Thanks for reaching out.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching the show. But Stephanie, I need you to do one more thing for me, if you can.
Okay.
Can you exit anything you want to say in your Kid Goku voice? I would love that. Anything you could say. Subscribe to the Scevoli X-Wars show. Go follow Crit. Whatever you want. Yeah. It doesn't have to be even me related. It can just be what you have on the top of your head. But thank you guys for joining the Scevoli X-Wars show. Stephanie, please exit us out.
You forced me to awaken this hidden power. No, one more time. You forced me to awaken my hidden power. And I still don't know why do women have butts on their chest? Someday I'll figure it out. Kamehameha. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stephanie, thank you. Good night, everybody. Pleasure. I will see you on the other side, Steph.
I'll see you then, and I look forward to hearing from anybody who wants to reach out. You guys keep trying to live pure of heart.
Yes, we do. Be kind to one another, guys, and may the force be with you, my friends. Always. Bye.
Bye.